All right. Getting used to this stuff here.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Back in the studio. Live.
Yeah. I actually put an intro here to
Oh,
this
yeah?
one. Yeah, just like a little 30-second intro.
All right.
Yeah, you came at just the right time. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So what's been going on in the good old United States of America?
Good old Los Angeles, man. Just seeing all the crazy new executive orders and shit that's been, going on in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
How's the is there still continual protests going on over there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's protests in downtown, and I don't go to them. I see them in the news, mainly students and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just the overall mentality of people is changing. I, I'm applying to this freaking job in Santa Monica, and I asked one of my a guy who was my tennis coach for years, and he always gives me a freaking recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a black guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like my tennis mentor for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked him for one, and then he's like, oh, he didn't want to get into politics, and then asking me if I had my citizenship, and like all this, like
Whoa,
you
whoa,
could.
whoa, 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 whoa. What? He what?
Yeah,
Wait, wait. He got into some politics when you asked him?
yeah. He's like, it's like I don't mean to be, how do you call like no, nothing personal. I don't want to get into the politics of things, and I hope that you have your citizenship stuff straight. And I was like, what the heck? Where is this coming from? And I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, man. Of course, I have everything straight. It's like,
Wow.
because people are seeing that shit on TV where they're like raids, and they're going into the schools. You
Right.
know, I haven't seen it personally, but that's just like the media just taints people's perceptions of
Mm-hmm.
what
Yeah.
reality is. And
Yeah, and it reminds and it's funny because this we're going to talk about this concept of evil, but what we're really talking about, like which with your tennis coach, right, is this concept of what's called the banality of evil, right?
mm,
It's that this idea that ordinary people, they they al- they allow some type of, I won't say it's not to that a point yet, but it's Hannah. I always get her name wrong. Hannah Arendt. She did this. Where's that book at? She wrote this book, to Origins of Totalitarianism, right?
mhm,
She it was like it was on this analysis of Adolf Eichmann, right? In his during the Nuremberg trials, and how ordinary people can commit like these horrific acts, right? And what you're
mhm.
saying is that people are starting to change now. It's that um, this idea of like, what is it going to lead to, right? It's going to lead to more and more. I mean, like what you're saying is very alarming to me. I mean, he'd never asked you this before. However, now he's worried about that you have your legal status.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, right? He's asking you about your legal status because why? Because he thinks it's going to come back on him,
yeah, 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 exactly.
right?
Yeah, he thinks like that. Like that I'm like because of the Palisades fire. I lost my job when that
Right.
thing came down. But he thinks like maybe like it's because they found out I don't have papers or something like that. I don't
Oh,
know.
oh wow. Wow.
That's what I mean. I didn't go further on it. I just asked somebody else. But I mean, it was the first time I was like, man, this guy's been like consuming way too much of that
Right.
of the media. That
Yeah.
the Trump philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, because again, it's turning neighbor against neighbor, right?
Yeah, yeah,
This is
neighbor against neighbor,
this
exactly.
is this is exactly what this administration is doing and bringing in. And then my friend, like I think I repeated this last time, he talks about we're undergoing a cultural shift in the United States,
Hmm.
right? I saw this video where yeah, actually it was right before Trump, if I remember correctly. It was before Trump took office, and it was a white guy. And I should send you the video. It was a white guy. Maybe we could watch it. And he stopped these two men, Hispanic men, Mexican, I believe, and he stopped them, Carlos. And you could see him. One of the men, the passenger, he's filming this interaction, and he's telling him, he's like, "No, no, no, you don't speak English. We speak English in this country." And he takes their keys out of their truck, and he's
Hmm.
basically detaining them, right? Saying that, no, you're gone. This is Trump's America now, right?
Hmm.
You don't even speak English. I just called the cops on you. Well, anyways, the guy ended up getting arrested because it's like kidnapping, right? You can't just do that, right?
Right, right.
But I mean, but here's the thing: to even think that you are, because in his crazy, ignorant mind, he's justified in doing that,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And
Yeah, I mean, everybody's just looking out for their own stuff, and it's like no trust. I mean, right now they're like pushing with all these, psyops and everything that they've been pumping through the TV. Is like you can't trust anybody.
Mhm,
Everybody's here.
mhm,
And these immigrants are they're like killers and crazy,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
and like you're not even safe in the school. They could have a mass shooting, and
mhm,
you
mhm,
know, and in the theater everywhere there could be a freaking serial killer with a gun. So that's why it's like turn in all your guns. Disarm the whole everybody. There you can't trust anybody, and the only people you could trust is the government, and not even now like people. The government's
mhm,
not
mhm,
people
mhm,
anymore. Like, we don't trust people at all. Now we need
mhm, mhm,
AI to
mhm,
be
mhm,
governed by
mhm,
AI
mhm, mhm,
because it's always gonna tell the truth. It's gonna be unbiased, selling that the lie. Like if it's some independent
mhm, mhm,
organism that's not programmed by somebody with that has interest in mind when they program it.
mhm.
Like they want to sell it like some kind of like rational, hyper rational, like it's only for the good of humankind.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility.
Like
You see
Will
that.
that Will
Go ahead.
Smith movie, I Robot, right?
Oh, yes.
Like at
Yeah.
the end, you're like, oh, we got to keep man away from themselves.
Mhm, mhm,
They're
mhm,
the they're the real problem in the world.
mhm. And that's the whole I mean, that's the whole premise behind, Terminator, right? It's that
Mhm.
the human beings are a threat to, well, I guess they're a threat. Here's the thing, there's threat to the AI, right?
Yeah, when they want to unplug it, then
Right, and they've already had these like studies, right? Actually, just the other day, I forget what I was watching or was I reading. I think I was watching something where there was they did an experiment, right? And the AI, right? They basically let the AI bot know that they were going to kind of unplug it, right? And so what
Mhm.
it did, it made a copy of itself,
Oh yeah, yeah, I heard something like that. Yeah.
right? It made a copy of itself and made it so that um, it was kind of like fooling. the the testers, whoever was in charge of this experiment, right? Okay,
Mhm.
and then also too that they're actually having AIs, I guess, play chess against each other, right? And so
Mhm.
what the AIs do in order to win, like let's say one side will give it all queens. They'll break the rules. They'll rewrite the rules for the program, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that it just wins, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so it's already right. And then there's a term. It's called like general AI. You heard of this term,
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
right? That's when it becomes basically like a person, I suppose. I think that's the term, right? I might be getting that wrong. Probably I am,
Mhm.
but okay, hey, let me try something here.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and see if I can embed this video for the first time. It's that the one I told you about. All right,
All right.
I'm gonna let's check it out. Let's see, share screen here. Oh yeah, yeah. Let me do it. All right, can you see this?
No. No. No.
Oh, hold on. I got to do this first.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, here we go. We're up in our game here. All right, let's watch this. All right, you ready? You
Uh,
ready? All right, here we go. You don't, right here, you don't even speak English, bro. What's wrong with you? They coming. Yeah, for me. For you. Oh. Ah, that's me. Took his, he
Got
took his
caught,
glasses.
bro. Where you from?
Crazy.
Mexico? You from Mexico?
And man, I had experiences like this on the tennis court where like
What?
I'm coaching and then some fucking like other coaches that are there, some white coaches, they come or some white guy who comes and like, oh, that's enough time for you. Like out of everybody, like they pick to come after me, you know? And it's
Wow.
like who it's like it's been done like several times, and I was like, man, one more time, I have an answer for these motherfuckers.
I don't know
And
if I told you. Yeah, you know what? I think one of the only times. I mean, people think that. When I tell them I'm Mexican, most people are kind of surprised by that, right? But when I was always in Orange with my friend Ian, right? And so
all
I
right.
was just hanging out with, nothing but white guys, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
was just like nothing for me. And they started, you know what they started calling me, man? It's because, my last name. They started me calling me Fidel,
Yeah.
right? They started calling me Fidel. And then here's what I did, dude. I was like, okay, let's see how long this goes, right? Or I didn't even have those faculties back then. And
Right.
this guy said it, right? And I went like this to him. I said, that's not my name. Right? They have like that Mexican fear, right? They can have some knife or anything. I don't know. But
I
it's like, dude, what are dude, I'm 25 years old. I'm a young man. You're gonna try and clown me? Are you kidding me? Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, dude, I'm dumb. I'll be stupid and do stupid things. So let's not go there. Let's finish this. Let's finish this. Here we go.
Go. Parky. No.
Check this out.
No, you cannot drive, bro. You have not a license. You have no license. Going we're going back. We got the cops coming, bro. If you don't got a driver's license, you can't drive a vehicle. You know that, right? If you don't have a license, you cannot drive a
This is
car in the
infuriating, man.
United States. No,
Look, it takes. Look.
no, it's over. It's over.
And embolden racists.
All right. That's enough of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Dang, man, that's just crazy.
yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, really?
man, and man, more and more, this shit has just emboldened all the racists and all and also like what do you call the business owners, and the way they treat their employees, and it's like you have no rights, you can get fired
Mhm,
at any
mhm, mhm,
time.
mhm.
They don't need to give you an explanation.
And here's the thing, man, is that I was discussing this with my wife the other day. Um, and I'll just go out and say it, you know, is that right now, and it just started, I mean, it's always been around, right? As far as this idea of white supremacy, right? This whole
Mhm.
this theory of the great replacement theory, right? That's pervasive right now, and it has been for a while, but it's, I mean, you're getting these little dog whistles about it, right? Going back to this what Trump says is they're tainting the blood of our nation, right?
Mhm.
Um, so there's this view of America that some people have that obviously probably this guy has. Maybe he doesn't even know he has it. Maybe it's subconscious he has it, or maybe he's just an outright, racist, right?
Mhm.
Is that America is white, right?
Right, right.
That America belongs to people that look like me, right? Not you. And
Mhm.
so, but and this is why this whole pushback with this DEI, because what started to happen, right? What was changing, um, slowly but surely, was this idea is like, hey, no, America is kind of like this colorless place, right? Like where we grew up in California, right? So I think that was a benefit for me. It formed my
Mhm.
worldview about America, was just like, oh, it's for everybody, right?
Right.
It's for right. But then as I started to know more about um, just the history and politics, right? I started to
Mhm.
understand that no, man, there's a definite push for to keep basically the country in a stasis, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In stasis, in the sense that it's white, it's Christian, and this is how we're going to be from now until whenever, right?
Mhm.
It's very delusional, and in order to keep it like that, you have to use means of control, right? Both soft and hard means of control, I believe. But yeah, that's
Mhm. Mhm.
that's yeah, those are the two, like maybe right now these two, but I'm sure there's other possible perspectives on it. But right here, I see that these two views or perspectives in the United States are clashing. You have one that is very inclusive, right? That people, I mean, you would argue this is merit based. It's basically like your skills and what you contribute as a citizen. Where the other one, yes, it's so merit based too, but you have to be of a certain belief, right? Belief and ideology, and dude, they might as well just say it. You have to be a certain skin color too. It seems like, right? Or at least subservient to the masters in a certain sense, right? All right. Maybe I
Yeah.
went off, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like a lot of it has to do too how we're like educated
Mhm.
as in youth, you know,
Mhm, mhm,
where
mhm,
it was like we're not taught to be independent, you know,
mhm,
like we're taught to just follow directions, and there's a strong leader there, the
mhm,
teacher
mhm,
that puts down the rules, you know, and you know that's what I was talking to you about pedagogy and andragogy, right?
mhm, mhm,
Like the pedagogy I was looking here is like what is it? What is it? Pedagogy is like when we learned as kids, right? There's like
mhm, mhm,
dependence on
mhm,
teacher and authority.
mhm,
We need
mhm,
a structured learning environment. Emphasis on rote learning, which is like repetition, memorization,
mhm, mhm,
right? Assessment driven, like you're judged, right? Or the tests
mhm,
and
mhm, mhm,
quizzes.
mhm,
And there's a hierarchy of compliance. You know, you have to abide by the rules, schedules,
mhm,
and
mhm, mhm,
expectations.
mhm,
Right?
mhm,
And then it's like, then we that's what like they're trying to mold a certain type of individual. So when they go out into society, if they don't see that same structure in how do you call it, in the government, in the structure of society where you work in, you know,
mhm.
then you feel like scared, you know. then you feel
Mhm,
like,
mhm,
oh, that's loose and out of control. This is crazy. And that's
mhm,
kind of like they gave you 4 years of like Biden, which was just like somebody who was just not even there. Just
mhm.
like going into a classroom and everything's just going to hell, right? Or like you don't even know the difference between a man and a woman, and you know, do whatever you want, and every
Well,
society is just going
mm,
crazy.
mhm.
And
Well,
so
let me
people
go
scream
ahead. I'm
for
sorry. Go ahead.
because these guys are experts at giving you 4 years of one shit. You get tired of that, they give you 4 years of the opposite shit. But the how do you call it? In the meantime, they pump in all the things, all the agendas they had,
Mhm, mhm.
before.
Well, it's very superficial, right?
Hmm.
The in the sense that what they're, I mean, but now it's very structural. I think what Trump is doing, he's changing the structure of not the structure for, let's say, the the upper classes, right? He's basically changing the structure for everyone else, right? As far as those that depend on some type of government assistance, right? And then
Hmm.
going to Medicare or Medicaid, right? And then I guess they want to go after Social Security as well. Um, but let's talk about this thing you said about I like about gender, right? Because now there's this, basically Trump has said that there's only two genders, man and
Hmm.
women, right? Um, but here's the thing, man, because I know that you've mentioned this before in our talks. I kind of know your viewpoint on this, but the fact is that there are transgender individuals, right, in the
Right,
United
right.
States and around the world. They do exist, right?
Yeah.
And um, because and it's kind of like minorities. I mean, a minority group, okay. But my point, like minority ethnically, right, or like we're seeing undocumented people, is that they're an easy group to beat up on, right, for political
Hmm.
reasons.
Hmm.
Um, and just because, again, this is maybe my California upbringing, you're different, and you're such a minority group, and you're so vulnerable that you need to be protected, right? You need
Hmm.
to let people know that, okay, you know what? Um, because honestly, man, tell me, what is the danger to society to acknowledge that, yes, this person is transgender, right? Or this person is homosexual. I don't see the danger, right? But
Hmm.
but I want your opinion on this, because educate me.
No, I mean, growing up, you saw the people that were like metrosexual or something about them, right?
Hmm,
But it
hmm.
wasn't something that was like, you know, uh, like a huge discriminatory. I mean, at
Mhm,
least I
mhm.
didn't like. There was usually it was more race riots in Inglewood High School than like
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
there was no like somebody beating up on a gay person or something like.
No, that was my generation. In my generation, they were still in the closet and it was locked. So they started, I think, your generation after me, they started coming out. But yeah, that's my generation, right?
No, I mean
Yeah.
because there was. I mean, I guess it depends, like on where you how do you call like because you say you grew up around a lot of white people, right?
Hmm,
My school was more black and Hispanic. The only white
hmm.
people in their school was the autistic kid that didn't know he was white, or else he would have moved. He would have gone to another school.
Okay. Crazy.
But I didn't have any white like classmates.
Mm, mm, mm.
And I know that, I mean, the Hispanic community, as far as gay and like all that shit, is very like, they don't like it, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, no. How do you call and my dad, he would say, if I ever, you guys ever go to homosexual, some shit, I'm gonna tie you on the back of the car, both hands and feet, and let your butt drags.
Well, okay. On that note, man. Well, that's crazy.
I mean, he said it like, it wasn't like something we took serious,
Uh
but
huh.
it was like, how do you call it? It was that mentality where it's like, like, I want to like have men here. We're men. We're not like fucking gay or anything like that.
Well, okay. Well, let me interject a little bit here because actually, um, I had a nephew, okay, who was homosexual, okay, and great person, man, just a great person. Um, but because he grew up in the small community that I was in, right, he's not really accepted,
Right, right.
okay, and then also too, my brother is extremely religious,
Uh-huh.
and so to make just to get right to the point here is that you can imagine um the the anxiety that this caused him, right? The internal strife. I mean, he became an alcoholic and he died last year, man.
Mm-hmm.
He died. He was only 33 years old.
How did he die?
See, that's the thing. This is it's just it's very odd to me.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
That he,
because he died suddenly. I believed he probably had some type of overdose, right?
mm-hmm.
Something
Mm-hmm.
because that's what's that one now? Gosh, dog, I don't know all these drugs. The one where you just take it and you know, and it's rampant right now. God, I can't even think about it right now, but a lot of people are dying from it. But I think he probably took something like that. But here he's tortured. I thought he was going to get a college degree. He was smart,
Mm-hmm.
but because he was homosexual and because I mean even I had a discussion with him once and sometimes I look back and like why the hell did I say that and so because because he moved back to my brother's house and I
Uh-huh.
took him out for lunch and I basically said look you're never gonna what you want from your dad you're never gonna get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're never gonna get it because
But
he,
society was more open now.
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, he was able to find, he lived in San Francisco,
Like
right?
in the
And
community.
yes, exactly. That's why he had to live over there, right? That's why he thrived over there. He had a lot of friends, and then he ended up moving, I believe, was it in Virginia? And that's where he passed away over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, man, he was loved. He was a great soul. But and that's what going back to what I was talking about just accepting people, right? Again, why why do people think that this is going to um, you know destroy the nation? I understand maybe kids, right? And you've talked about the whole drag queen and reading to kids, right? The
Yeah,
reading
yeah, yeah.
stories. But here's the thing, man. When you told me about, I mean, those parents take those kids there, so they have
Yeah,
parents
yeah.
that are taking them there. So I mean, that's their business. That's how they want to raise their kid. They want to raise their kids. I just don't see. Um, I,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just go ahead.
the thing where I disagree with the whole, like, there is this group, the homosexual group, but then when you're like try to like make people who aren't into that like submit their kids to that, Like let's say like they wanted to make sex education to include like anal sex as an option. And just like how they did sex education, where they show you how to put the condom on, how to do this, and how to, have sex, right? And they wanted to
Mhm.
now like put like a part where it's like how to have anal sex, right? And so it's like when and also like putting men and women sports and things like that. It's just like then you
Well,
cross the line.
well, I understand, but see, that's the thing, man. How many? There's a small number. Again, very small number, right? And so, again, I see it as a means for political gain. Just like when I see this freaking creep, Stephen Miller. God, he's so man. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's in the Trump administration. I mean, he talks about undocumented people. He always, man, always goes to these incidences where undocumented people have committed these crimes, right? Over and over and over and over again. And my point is that yeah, people commit crimes, humans commit crimes, right?
Hmm.
And so they focus on these very, very, you know, the worst possible, cases of undocumented people, or like this in genderism in sports, right? There's
Hmm.
very few cases, but they bring it to they basically blow it up and make it a larger issue than it is. Now, of course, crimes are crimes, and I understand that if you have like a transgender boy playing, let's say, I don't know, basketball, right?
Yeah, or that
Just
swimmer. Remember that swimmer that she was? There was
yeah.
also a UFC fighter that was also like a man.
Okay, see, that's a little bit different, right? I mean, because then there's testosterone,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Testosterone that's the building blocks of muscle, right? That's why, there are, differences between men and women as far as muscle mass is concerned. But again, man, those are, you know, the cases are small, right? The instances are small.
yeah. But these people weren't just like saying, "Oh, accept them." They were trying to make that something like a part of a culture where, yeah, you say you're a woman because these transgender people, there is only two sexes, right? You can feel like a man if you're a woman, or you can feel like a woman if you're a man, but you're still a man. You still have a dick and have a pussy, right? It's not gonna change, right? And it's
But
like,
what about hormones though, man? Some people have some different types of hormones imbalances, right? Look, when
yeah,
I taught in the classroom, I definitely one of my last years, I definitely there was a girl there who looked like a guy, and she dressed like a guy, she act like a guy, right?
yeah.
So
But it's the difference of like looking like a guy and being a guy. It's like it's a huge difference. And then it's like then it goes into like hormone therapies. This isn't just about like normal people who have like imbalances, which is us, like a minority. And this is like about, okay, if you what do you feel like? You feel like a man, you feel here, let's give you some testosterone and as a girl, right? Let's give you
mm,
some. And oh, you want a sex change? You feel okay? And if your parents are against it, that's I think child abuse. They were going too deep into like trying to give the kids all the the parents your child abuse if you don't do what your kid says. If your kid says they're this, then you need to be sensitive to that. And at certain age, your kid can tell you anything, right? Like it's like, oh, I feel like I'm a robot, I'm a Pokemon.
but here but here's the thing, man. And maybe this is where data, is necessary. I mean, how many of those cases are there, man?
Exactly.
I'm thinking it's going to be very very few. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's gonna be more if in school they're preaching that, you know? If in school and the media they're preaching that, oh, because you don't feel right in your own body, which nobody does when you're a teenager,
Of course.
right? Then you should
Hmm.
change your sex.
Well, here's the thing. Now we wanted to talk about this too. Maybe this is where education comes in, right?
Mhm, yeah.
Rather than restriction, education, right? Here is, and well, again, various stages of development, right? One can understand. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, from about seventh grade, right on. You're constantly going through these crazy changes, right? Biologically, psychologically,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, and I understand, and I guess I would agree with that. There's needs to be restrictions on, right, pro, prohibiting certain types of behaviors. But again, I just those would be like case by case issues, right? Not this
No, but
blanket.
they
Go
want
ahead.
they want to make it like a holiday. Like, hey, Dad, imagine you send your little boy to school. Hey, Dad, today was transgender day. I dressed as a girl, and he comes with him with lipstick and a
I mean,
dress.
come on. I mean,
No, but that's what they're like. That's the road that they were going. Would you be like, oh no, hell no, or you be
okay,
like, oh,
I gotta say, okay, I'll address that because I did talk to my son about this. Okay,
mhm,
now I'll let you know into a little bit about the culture here in Japan, right? The education
uh-huh.
culture. They're not homosexual, the boys, right?
Mhm.
But they act like it, man.
Yeah, yeah, they because they're the culture is also. I mean, the culture is messed up everywhere, right? And every society they're exploiting and they're manipulating the people, and it's like you can't. That's the educational system and the culture and the mainstream of any culture
Well,
is all fucked up. That's
well,
where
be-
you as a man, as the head of the house, as you're the like the philosophical leader, the this is where you take your place, no matter what culture you're in, what
mm,
educational system you're in, you know. Yeah,
if that's the case, then we better well be damn well educated. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
we, this is why I feel my responsibility is. Maybe I take it too much as far as educating myself. But what I wanted to say was going back to what I was saying is that in the classroom, I see these kids doing this. They're boys. They're sitting in each other's laps. They're
sitting
like
in. I saw that in Spain,
they're like
sitting in
rubbing
each
their
other. Yeah,
ears,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like
right?
hell, no,
Some
that's
of them are sitting
right in the
like straddling them, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then they like grab their genitals, right? I'm like, what? And I
yeah.
go to my supervisor, like, what's wrong with these kids? What's
They're
going
grabbing their
on?
genitals.
Right? And he's just
Damn,
like, that's what they do. And so what I did, I told my
no
son,
way.
I looked him right in the face, is like, don't you ever let any of these kids do this to you. All right, you have my
Yeah, of
permission
course.
to smack
Yeah,
them. Heck
yeah.
no, no, you just don't do that. I'm
You
sorry.
just don't do that. Yeah, and that's not being homophobic.
No,
That's just educating your son the right
yeah.
way.
This is my body, right?
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
certain autonomy over my body. I'm not going to allow you to do that. No
yeah.
way.
And that's
Uh-uh.
where it's like here comes the religious how do you call it, education, where
Mhm.
it's like just because it feels good, right? Because at
Mm.
that age, oh yeah, it feels good. They might even get a hard on from that shit, right? But yeah, I mean, they don't know the difference.
Mm-mm.
To rub on somebody, and it feels good at that age. You're not really understanding that, oh, there's a difference between a man and a woman, and none of that, right?
Mhm,
This is
mhm.
where it's like there's got to be some basic principles that you follow, like thou shalt not steal, right? Thou shalt
Mhm,
not
mhm,
honor
mhm,
thy
mhm.
father and mother, right?
Thou shalt not grab another man's genitalia
No,
without his consent. Right?
right. You're a man. You want to be a man. You don't want to be a girl, right? You don't want to. rub up
But
against
see,
the
but
ground.
that's the thing, man. Like I feel okay. I feel fortunate because I don't even have to have that discussion. I don't have to have
But
that.
if
I don't
he's
think.
seeing that, that's good that you have it now because he's seeing that. He's seeing that. He's around. Those are gonna be his childhood friends. Those are his childhood friends. You know.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's like they're gonna have a huge influence on his life.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's like you have to assert yourself there as like
Mhm. Mhm.
he's gotta be more. How do you call him? Respectful of you, mindful of you, afraid of you, or whatever than he
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
his friends. You know. And it's like
Mm.
I never got into gangs
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I was always afraid of my dad, man.
Mm.
I
Mm.
was more afraid of what would happen if my dad found out than of these gang leaders or whatever.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Fuck that. Like, I'm not afraid of you. I'm afraid of my dad, man. My dad, he laid the law down. You know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm grateful for that, man. I'm grateful for that.
So, okay. Well, I guess my parenting technique is there's a certain amount of fear, of course, that a father is always going to have over his kids, especially his son, I guess, right?
Yeah, respect or
But
else he's gonna kick your ass.
what?
He's got to have enough fear where he has to respect you, or he's not gonna like want to kick your ass, right? Where it's like, what do
Mm,
you like? He gonna get his sword and chop your head off, you know,
mm, 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 mm,
right?
mm.
Because then becomes that Oedipus complex where you're like trying to like kill your dad, and like your mom's always like cuddling you. Your dad's the one that disciplines you usually.
Mhm,
Well,
mhm. It, I'm very fortunate, man. How my life is, take taken, and who I have is like, my partner and everything.
hmm
Um, because she's a therapist, child therapist, right? She
hmm
was. So she gave me a lot of insights. And so as far as like raising my kids, I've never hit them, right?
hmm
And I've hardly ever had to like raise my voice either. I've done it a
hmm
couple times, right? But not many. I have the 15 and then the 11 and then the boy, he's 8.
hmm
Um and so one of the things that like our family dynamic is we always have dinner every night, right? We're
yeah.
always to kind of together and we're talking,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah,
have this
talking is
relationship.
so important, man.
Yeah,
That's
and
one thing about
so
my dad.
mm-mm,
He wasn't a talker, no advice. It was just like if he got angry, you knew by his. He had really up and down moods, you know.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
But talking, that's when my older brother was more like he was like a second dad because he was like 8 years older than me.
mm-hmm,
When I was 10, he was 18, and he liked philosophy and read a lot. And
mm-hmm,
he's
mm-hmm.
the one with like a talking. What was that they used to call the talking cure, right? Talking to people. I mean, that goes a long way, man. That goes a
Mhm,
long.
mhm,
You don't need to hit them if you're talking to them constantly, mentoring,
mhm, mhm.
uh,
Yeah,
fathering,
cause mm, yeah,
like
'cause
fathering, not just being there, like, hey, don't do one. Like, see,
mhm,
one of my
mhm,
brothers, like, only when my nephew does something bad, he's like, what the hell? But in between, he doesn't talk to him.
mm, 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 mm.
He's just waiting until he fucks up to yell at him.
Mhm, 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 mhm. So my father was like that too, man. As far as he didn't really say anything, but you knew that and he had a temper. Um, he's he was an immigrant from Mexico. He didn't have
Yeah, yeah.
a high school degree,
Got
a
good
high school diploma.
education.
Nothing, right? He didn't have that.
Yeah,
Um,
Mexico didn't either.
yeah, so it's just I guess what I wanted to do when I became aware of it is I wanted to change this generational of raising your kids, right? I'm not going to
Yeah,
hit
right.
them. I'm going to talk to them and have this relationship with them where they feel that they can, we could talk to each other. Not like
Mhm.
me. I felt like honestly, it felt when I look back at it now that my parents were like in an adversarial position, right?
Mhm.
I always had to lie and cheat and sneak out of the house, right? I could never really be honest with them because they couldn't understand anything, right? Really, that I thought they couldn't, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's what my relationship was with them. But for my kids, I want them to come and if they want to do something, we could talk about it. Right? They don't have to sneak and cheat and lie
Right,
and
right, right.
right.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
mean, oh man. I mean, God. I mean, I was always just on a personal note. I mean, I was always sneaking out of the house. I never wanted to be home. I didn't
Mhm.
want to be in that house. What for? The only really time that I felt really good in my house, tell you the truth, and this sounds horrible, is when no one was in it except me. That's when I liked being there. And
Yeah.
I don't want that for my kids. And it's not, right? Because they, take for instance last night. It's like, okay, we're going to start a movie. We have movie nights on Fridays and Saturdays. Okay, we
Mhm.
all get together, or we started playing games now too, right? And so it's like, okay, tell me when you guys start the movie. I'll be up here and I'm doing something. I don't know, like editing something.
Mhm.
And then the kids, they're messaging me, or then they come up, okay, come on, you got to come, right?
Right.
They want me to spend time with them.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, they want you to spend time with them. This is when you get them. You know, if you don't spend time with them now, when they're teenagers in their 20s, they're not gonna want to spend time with you. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I see
Yeah.
my nephew. I'm here with my nephew, living with him,
Hmm.
and the he doesn't want to go to his dad's house. He doesn't want to live with his dad. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Like, cause then when he tells me how it was with his dad, it was just like reminds me of my dad. It's like he copied the same
mm, mm, mm,
thing, you know. And it's like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
it's like while my other brother, his kids still want to be with him. They're in their 20s now, you know. But they still want to live with him. They and
mm-hmm,
because he
mm-hmm.
talks to them, and But I don't have any kids, but definitely, man, you have to like have a real
Yeah.
relationship with.
Me,
Yeah.
hmm Because
Yeah.
I feel, yeah, this responsibility for them that I have. Like,
Mhm.
for instance, um, I read to my kids still,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Of
like
course.
my oldest. We hadn't done this for a while because she was always preparing for tests. That's another thing I could talk to you about.
Celeste.
Japanese and tests. Oh my gosh, the testing here is crazy. So the last book we read together was The Outsiders, right? And so
Oh, yes.
we would we read the book together, and then I would have these questions and we'd discuss it, right? We watch the movie, and then we'll do a you know a talking about the difference between the movie and the novel and the theme, just that. And
Yeah.
I'm reading another book with my daughter right now. So those are the things that I can do. And so I
Mhm.
get with them and we'll write. Like today we're gonna, I want them to write by hand, right? And
Right.
so these are the things that I feel I have to do with my kids, or train them and get them, physically fit, because I mean that's my responsibility. I've and
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
feel really strongly about those things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean exactly. Like the more education you have, the more confidence you have, and this is why, like when you
Mhm,
start to
mhm,
put cross things that are very controversial in the educational system,
mhm, mhm,
like I mean, like the LGBT, the how do you call the drugs and the pills that they push
mhm,
on
mhm,
kids, you
mhm,
know, like
mhm,
these are things that when you're a parent confused, you don't know how to parent, because you have to be like a teacher to your kids, and you don't have enough
mhm.
information,
Yeah.
and
Mhm, mhm,
it's like these are the things that are used against the family to destroy the family, to push like the government education wants to separate you from your kids, and
It
it
does
allows,
sure seem that way, yes.
yeah, and it allows things that that aren't shouldn't be in a school system to be there, while it pushes the things that should be in the school system, like God, right? like like a soul, like empathy, and like not like it turns the classroom into a competition, into like the grounds for like bullying, right?
Hmm,
and,
hmm.
and it's like it's taken all the morality out of like the why you send your kids to school to be in a community with other kids, right?
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
it's like it has nothing. The community is just the Wolf of Wall Street, right? Where it's like that's who's gonna like win there, right?
Mhm,
The
mhm.
one that is like the most mischievous, conniving, cheating.
Well, isn't that kind of what's going on now and has been,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I believe this, like I told you before, this cultural shift, I think it started a long time ago with this, here I go, I'm gonna give the buzzword, the neoliberal ideology, right?
Mm-hmm.
In where, profit is like the basis for everything in the society, right? And it might is right. I mean, that's basically what is pervasive through American culture right now, right? That's what I see. Where um, going back to education is that you have this push right now. They want to privatize education, man,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're for
I
many
mean,
reasons, right?
and defunding all the public schools now with those
Hmm,
charter
hmm.
schools. And what's a charter school? It gets rid of the district, right? The overseeing arm. There's no more superintendent, all that. Now it's a CEO at the top.
Right.
There's not a curriculum writer.
Hmm, hmm,
Everything.
hmm.
The teacher gets to, how do you call it, do all the jobs that were done through the district before.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
And then
No
you have no
unions.
job security. You can get fired at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you have no union, nothing.
Nothing. So, but here's I'll say this, man, is that you can't um, you can't apply a business model to every facet of society. You can't,
Oh yeah, but this
right?
is how these guys work, man. This is how this.
Because it makes them money.
Yeah, because they're thinking about the bottom line, money, and more than money is control, man. These
Well,
guys have
okay. Mhm,
all the money that they want, man. The true how do you call owners of the world? They own the printing press.
mhm,
They
mhm.
print the money.
I mean,
They have like credit cards that are just like endless. They just swipe them and goes
mhm,
on
mhm,
forever.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
They-
Like if you look at, for instance, the prison system, the privatized prison system.
yeah, yeah.
I
Sad,
mean, when
man. Sad.
it is. It's
Yeah,
completely because I mean, if you
perfect.
really think about it, and this, I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of the biggest lobbying groups in Washington. If you really think about it, what you're really saying is we are going to profit off of the misery of other people,
Oh yeah,
basically,
yeah.
right?
Taking away the freedoms of like okay, look at the COVID pandemic. How did they profit from taking away the freedoms, from locking you into your house, like applying the prison system, the strategy to like the whole population, right? How do they
Hmm,
profit?
hmm, hmm,
Right?
hmm,
They closed down all the small businesses. The
hmm, hmm,
competition
hmm,
went under,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
Right? The competition went under. They
hmm,
had you like a little dog waiting for the bone to come,
hmm, hmm,
like
hmm,
when the food comes in the prison, or you trade a candy bar for some cigarettes or some shit,
hmm.
like just on the crumbs, begging to go out and live a normal life, right?
Mhm,
If
mhm.
you act good, maybe we'll let you go to the park today.
Right?
We'll let you go to the yard an extra half hour, right? This is like, and they profit off of that shit, right?
Mm,
They
mm,
profit.
mm, mm, mm,
Why?
mm.
Because then the land is all theirs, all the shit,
Mhm, mhm,
all the
mhm.
resources are there for them.
Yep. Mhm, mhm.
Shit ain't crowded no more. They can go
Mhm, mhm,
vacation
mhm.
wherever they want to.
Mhm,
That's why they're trying to put this digital system to lock you in your house,
mhm.
get you. How do you call the? Used to being inside, not wanting to go outside anymore. Right? Because when we were young, we wanted to be outside all the time, right? Now you
Yeah.
can't. Now you can't get this new generation out of their room.
Mhm, mhm,
They're
mhm.
fucking happy in that little ass room in prison there.
Mhm.
And they don't even think about girls. They don't even think about sex. They don't nothing. They're
It's like,
like,
what's wrong with these people, man? Damn. Dude, from about like 14 years old, man,
no,
until
right?
like, I don't know what, 48? Just kidding. But
Nah, man. Me, that was since I was like 6, 7 years old. I already saw girls, man. Fuck.
wow. Man, do it the other way. Wow.
Yeah, no,
You're
no, man.
be
Since young, I understood what a girl was.
dude, I didn't know, honestly. Oh, I'm not even gonna go there. I didn't even know what boys and girls were until I was like it was like a traumatic experience, man. I don't even know if I want to talk about it, but uh all right, you know what, man? I'll tell you a story. You want to hear a crazy story, bro? All right, man. So I used to always go my Tia Clara, right, in this town. Little it wasn't even a town. I don't even it was called Terabella, right? And she used to have like a little farm. And I was pretty much neglected kid, right? I was kind of like an only kid because there was so much difference. There was like 10 years difference between me and my siblings, my three older siblings, right? They were all bunched together. So I was the accident, right? I
Mhm.
was the like alcohol late into night, right? Who knows what happened? All right. So one of my cousins there, she was working for a cousin that I didn't even know in another place called Early Mart, not too far away.
Mhm.
And so I would go to my Tia Clara's all the time. And so this one weekend, they're like, why don't we go meet she's my second cousin, so my dad's actual cousin in Early Mart. We'll go stay over there because she was working with them. I didn't know what kind of work she did. I was like, all right. So my two cousins, older cousins, both girls, Rosanna and Monica, we went over there and we were staying there. So what my cousin did, though I didn't like my second cousin, she in her house, she took care of mentally disabled kids, man.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm. Hello. You're cutting off. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? It looks like the time is still going, but I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, cool. All right. There it is. All right.
All right. It was getting
Jeez,
good,
man.
man. It was getting good. What
I
happened?
know. Hey, but you know what? It kept the same thing. It's still on the same stream
Yeah,
that
it's
we were
still on
doing.
the same stream. You can
All right,
cut it.
let me finish. Okay, let me finish this story then really quick, and then we'll move on. All right. So I was in the middle of
We'll
this
cut. We can cut it after.
very traumatic experience. So
What
so
autistic kid? What happened? He
so
molested.
okay, so all these kids in there in this room. I'm probably 8 years old, man. So I'm probably the same age as my kid. Dang, my
Mm-hmm.
son. So it's the first time I've ever really seen like kids like this before, and I didn't know. I, I didn't. I've never seen girl parts before, right?
Uh-huh.
And so there were these kids. They were naked, dude. My second cousin had no business taking care of these people, right?
Uh-huh.
It seems to me, and I'll tell you something that happened later on this night. So that's the first time, like, where's her like thingy? Where's it's like that's a girl. I was like, oh, that was the first time I knew the difference between boys and girls, man. Tell you the
Uh,
truth, right?
You haven't seen them in magazines or anything?
I was 8. I was too
I
busy.
had older I had older brothers. They were 14. They showed me magazines and
Oh,
shit.
see, dude, I was kind of like, nobody really paid attention to me. That's why I would always go to my cousin's house or whatnot, right? And I
Uh-huh.
was always gone on the weekends, man. I was always different places, man. I wasn't hardly ever home. So, okay, so here's what happened. So later on that night, dude, this is so crazy. Um, one of the kids, um, like she something happened, and my cousin Rosanna had to help my other cousin, right? Because this kid, her tubing, her mouth, dude, this is crazy. This is like a horror film. Her mouth was like developed so she couldn't open it. And I
Mhm.
remember she had like web fingers.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Yeah. I'm
That's
8 years old, man. Okay.
it's like fucking the mutants.
Right. So So we were in the kitchen. It was probably at least midnight or something. We had to get up because her feeding tube, she had to be fed through a tube that went into her
Shit.
body. It came off, right?
What part of her body did the feeding tube go?
Like into her, like it. Looking back on it now, I thought it was into her like her belly button or something, into her stomach, like directly into it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so what happened was it came off, and my second cousin, the one that's taking care of all these kids, how she put it on was she cauterized it, man. She burned it back on, like melted it back onto her skin, right? And so this kid, this girl, probably not much older than I was screaming, man, through her. She couldn't open it, so it was like,
Holy shit. Kind of fucking crazy ass.
right? So my mom tells me this years later because I told her about this. She's like, "Well, that's what was wrong with you." It's like, "What are you talking about?" She said that after that weekend, that when they went to come pick me up at my tia Clara's house, that I went and I sat on her lap. And like I had never done that before. And she was like looking at my dad's like, something's wrong with this kid. Right.
Uh,
Yeah. So that
so
was my go
disconnected,
ahead.
right? So
Um,
disconnected from your kids. That's what you don't want to be, man. That disconnected, right? I was disconnected with my dad, man. My dad wasn't somebody I talked to or went to for advice.
mhm, mhm.
Hell no. He was just like
Yeah.
too much, too much authority.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I never did that either, man. I don't know. Yeah. Never.
It was my older brother. My older brother was the one that I went to for advice, and
Mhm, mhm.
but yeah, man, as a boy too, man, you need to let things out, man, and talk.
Yeah. You need guidance, man,
You need
as a
guidance,
kid.
man. You
And
need
yeah,
guidance all your life, bro. You need
true.
guidance all your life. I still, my mother, she's my biggest mentor.
Mhm, mhm.
And it's like this, the coach, even though he told me about my pay personal, he's a guy that was like, he's a huge mentor to me.
Mm, mm, mm.
He's about the age of my mom and dad.
You know what, man? Speaking of I think mentors for me, first of all, I didn't have any guidance. I didn't even have, I mean, I had older brothers, but they didn't give a shit, right?
Mhm.
Um, Mentors for me became books.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's,
Then the books, then the book, but there is
yeah.
no replacing like real life people that are
The,
going through.
yeah. The first mentor that I had, I think, a true person that actually allowed me to kind of like develop and show and gave me some guidance was my martial arts instructor when I
Right.
was
Right.
about
Right.
26. When
Hmm.
I got into Aikido, man,
Hmm.
he was a big, even then I had an extended adolescence. I was an idiot then, right? And
Hmm.
so what was cool about him was that he gave me space to develop, and he did offer me guidance, and I asked him a lot of questions, man. Questions I should have been asking my own father, right?
Right.
But
Right.
but by then he was already dead. My dad
Oh,
died
really?
when my dad died when he was like 59 years old.
Oh man. Of what? Huh?
Heart attack.
Yeah. What?
And
He drank too much, or?
well, I mean, yeah, he would have his beers. He was diabetic. He never exercised.
No. That's young, man. 59 is young.
Yeah. So yeah, he died when I was.
Your mom still
My mom's
alive?
still alive. Yeah, she's
Mhm.
84 years old, man.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's older than my dad. My dad's 80, 81. My mom's 76.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, my dad, I don't, man, I don't, it's not somebody that you can talk to too much, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My older brother, he helped me a lot in the younger years. As he's gotten older, though, he's got very conservative and
Mm-hmm.
like just like I think he doesn't question like the educational framework. You know, he follows the. If tomorrow the government says to do this, to do that, he'll do it. You know,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
that's where it's like, I'm not like that no more. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I remember when meeting you and everything. I was like, man, this guy's incredibly smart, but he hangs out with a lot of stupid people. I would tell you that too, right? I would be like,
Yeah.
"What the hell are you doing hanging around with these people?"
I had to find my way, man. I mean, yeah, I was really young when young in
Yeah,
my
we were like
mind
in
and
our
whatnot.
20s, man. I think
Yeah.
you were like
Yeah.
26 or 27 around that age, right?
Hmm. How old are you now?
I'm 45,
Okay, yeah. So I met you when you were about 22, 21.
22,
Yeah,
22.
22 for sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah, around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. And I was like, man, this guy's very intelligent. And you were going through some time there, man. You're a late bloomer.
Completely.
Yeah, you're a late
Completely.
bloomer. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cause,
it took me a long time to really grow up because again, I didn't man, I'm telling you, I had no guidance whatsoever, right?
mhm.
Growing up, nothing.
That's why,
No,
because you said the books. Yeah, the books helped you.
that
The
was
book.
it.
Yeah, the books helped you a lot, man.
Yeah. I mean, I went to the army, right?
No, that
At
was your
least
first mistake you made. I remember you're like, I was in the army. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, hey, honest for me, I needed it though, man. Okay, put it this way, bro. If I didn't go to the army, man, I would have probably been some drug addict, alcoholic in my own little
Okay.
town, man, because that's how a lot of some of my friends ended up, right?
All right, all
Drinking, drugs, partying
right.
all the time. I needed to leave. I was a horrible student. I never did homework, right?
Uh,
Um,
that's how my nephew is right now, man. Man, I'm living with him. I'm fucking disappointed how he's like just a fucking lazy motherfucker. But he's
mhm,
talented. He's studying guitar.
mhm, mhm,
And he's talented. He kills it in the performances, but he doesn't practice. But
mhm,
I mean, this, I don't know. The difference now is like now they're not turning to alcohol and drugs. They're turning to the computer and like zombies.
mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I mean, at least I had sports,
Uh,
right? I played basketball. That's what I would do instead of
you were Mark
home,
3P, just 3PT for a while.
dude. I was always playing ball. I mean,
Yeah.
I was playing basketball and then I was reading, right? But I would never read school shit. It was always Stephen King or Clive Barker, all the stuff I shouldn't be reading, right?
But what did you
Um,
major in school?
philosophy.
Oh, you made, and you weren't reading the stuff that they were giving you?
No, no, when I went to college, of course, that was
Oh,
different. It
uh-huh.
wasn't until after came back from the military that I figured I going to started going to college
Mm-hmm.
that I just
You
knew I needed
were
it.
Edgar's roommate, right? You were,
Yes.
yeah. How was that? I never was there with you guys.
It was is an experience, man. Those were I mean, your brother was cool. Your brother was always cool.
And some
Um,
black guy, right? There was this the black. They were all into animation. You got stuck with the
yeah.
animation guys.
I know they stuck and there was this one
They're
I
dorks.
swear
They're all
this
dorks. Yeah. Play video games all day.
right, right, right,
Like
right.
nerdy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was not that I maybe because they thought because um my major was philosophy, I thought I would fit in there, but man, I was bringing girls to the room and I'm like, "Get the heck out of here," you know? Right? There was a guy in there, I think he was a little mentally delayed. He would always eat peanut butter sandwiches, right? I was like, "What's wrong with this dude, man?"
Yeah, yeah. No, I felt it like a nerd, dumb atmosphere, except for you, because you were older too. You
Right.
were like, there was like that. I think Edgar that messed him up with the right because there's man a bunch of nerds in here.
Yeah.
Animation's always filled with nerds, man.
Mhm. Mhm. That's right, because he was doing his painting, but then he moved to animation. Is he still
Mhm.
with, South Park?
Yeah, yeah, he's still with some.
Wow, man, that's awesome. And he still is he does the artwork there? Is that what does he do over there?
Man, no, he's with his kids and
No, I mean for South Park, what does he do?
animation.
Wow, that's
Yeah, yeah, he's
amazing.
doing his animation, you know.
Mhm,
But before, I
mhm,
mean, before he was more on fine arts, doing the art, more
mhm, mhm,
rebellious, you know.
mhm, mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
he used to be an inspiration for me because he was more rebellious than I was.
Mhm,
But then
mhm.
he went into animation, and then he started to go into the nerd path.
Dude, I always remember the 2 paintings of his. One, there was a pope, right?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
remember that one? Where the pope and
yeah,
I forget
yeah.
he had he's like a giant. I forget he had something in his hand. And then
Mhm.
the one where we're all like Bush
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
Mao
yeah.
and Pol Pot and Stalin, they're all in hell. Remember that one? That was cool, man. I like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, he would. But now, I mean, once you go in the nerd path, never go back.
Hey, nerds
If
rule the
nerd
world,
path
man.
gets you successful,
Huh?
then the nerd path gets you success, then you're
There
like,
you
you'll
go.
never really go back. Forget it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my wife calls me a nerd. I didn't even know I was a nerd. And she told me, goes, "You're a nerd." I was like, "What? I'm not no nerd.
Nah,
What are you talking
nah,
about?"
you're not a nerd. You're not a nerd.
Huh?
You're not a nerd. A nerd is like fucking like Elon Musk, like like all like autistic or something.
Right, right, right. But he's the richest man in the world, man.
Oh yeah, that's the techies,
Right.
right? Right? Like
Right.
these like they live in the computer. And they're playing
Right.
video. They still play video games. You know, haven't played video games. I don't know how long, right? You still play video games? Who's gonna?
I play with my kids, maybe like a half an hour a week
Yeah,
or something. It's like, all right, we'll play. Brrr, I'm done.
yeah,
I can't. This is it. Yeah.
yeah. You can't be playing video games at a certain. You know, like how did we grow up, right? Who's playing video games in their 20s? That's ridiculous. But
Right?
then it became like everybody like 30s, 40s.
Well, yeah,
They
I
took
have a
over. Nerds took
yeah.
over.
I have a nephew, Carlos, that he is actually there's a program in a university. I forget he's in a university somewhere in the Midwest where he's getting a scholarship to play video games.
Yeah, you'd be a tester or something.
This is what he
Yeah,
does, man. That's all he does is play. I mean, it's good for him. He's going to college, great. But man, to be in front of a computer screen for hours on end just playing video games, for me that was I mean, I know I don't really maybe have any research backing this, and I know people say, there's, hand-eye coordination or development of the brain, but I think it's the
yeah,
opposite. There's like a kind of like a
yeah,
brain rot. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And get them out into doing any physical activity, and they are the most clumsiest people in the world. You know.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
But
mhm,
all that video game boom, like, because we're the first ones to like play video games
mhm,
with
mhm,
the Atari, the Coleco Atari, and you
mhm,
know,
mhm.
it's like
Yep.
it's always been preparing you for this and for this
Mhm,
age
mhm,
where it's
mhm,
like
mhm.
you're not gonna be able to go out of your house. Everything you're gonna be able to scroll through your phone. How do you call like put the the ingredients on the pizza, and it's like a video game, right? You
Mhm,
know,
mhm,
they, like control all that shit, man.
mhm, mhm.
Where
Yeah.
they always make fun of the grandparents, but not my mom. She knows how to handle her Facebook now, right? But the older generation, the ones that passed away, they wouldn't. They've been prepping us for all this shit.
Mhm, mhm,
Through the Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers, and all that shit, man.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
No, and then it's you seen that Ready Player One, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the future right there. That's the
Mhm.
future in a
Right.
nutshell.
He's living all in squalor, but
I
when he
know.
goes, yeah, when he goes online, he's like a god, right?
Mhm. That's how they are, man.
Mhm,
That's why I see
mhm.
my nephew. He's all like in the internet, and he's got all these followers and these Christian. He's like in this fucking. Have you ever seen that these Christians that are like revivalists that they cast out demons and they speak in tongues and all this shit, huh?
Dude, I know what you're talking about. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, bro. I think that's so hilarious, but go
yeah,
ahead.
oh, hell yeah. And he's casting out demons.
He is?
I mean, he's learning how to cast out demons through his books that he orders from these guys, And his grades are
Oh.
shit. He doesn't do shit. He doesn't work. He doesn't do anything. But he's gonna cast out demons and speak tongues.
Oh my god,
I
man.
know, man. And
Wow.
then I try to tell him, I'm like, man, these guys are like, and he gets pissed when I try to criticize his idols. I'm like, man, what do you think these guys are?
Mhm.
And it's like, no, you don't know. No. I'm like, man, you don't even know these people. Get some real friends. You're 21 years old. Get a girlfriend, motherfucker. Like, what are you looking at this dumb shit all day?
Mhm.
Like, get good grades instead. No, I'm gonna cast out. You think you're gonna cast out demons? You can't even take out the trash, motherfucker.
See, that's another thing too. You mentioned girls, right? I mean, it's so odd for me. Like my nephews, they're young, dude. maybe I was just I don't know. My thing was when if I was from 18 till about 30, it was just like girls,
I
right?
know, right?
Huh? What'd you say?
Yeah, right. I mean,
That's
that's like
it.
even my mom. She's like, I don't know what's wrong. She tries to tell his dad, but his dad is just an idiot. I mean, he doesn't even. I mean, he doesn't have any relationship with him. And but then I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, because this shit is about girls is some shit independently of the dick, right? You don't even control that shit, right? It is your dick wants to find a girl, right?
Right.
Yeah, you don't even. It's not something you even think about. That shit is like something that you can't even avoid and shit.
Yes. Dude,
But
when my
now
friends we yeah.
they turned off that shit for them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, do you know they have all this technology? They turned off the dick sensor.
Dude, we used to go to the mall, right? We would go to the mall with my buddies, man, in the military, and this is what my buddies would do. They'd be like this. They're right, looking at girls like there's one right there. I mean, that's the only thing that was on our heads, man.
I mean, and
Getting
it
out,
wasn't even in your head. It's just like a sensor, like a light sensor. Your dick just went up for that shit.
just like right. It was yeah. You never, I mean, because I mean, honestly, I never thought of in this sense. I never thought, wow, I maybe shouldn't be doing this or I'm doing, no, it was just like, it's like a switch that was just turned on and was
Yeah,
just
it would
like,
just turn on like boom, right?
right. And then I got married and it was turned off. So, womp womp.
Well,
Right. Hey, but it was a good run, man. It was a really good run.
Yeah, but I mean, this generation is crazy. They don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just my nephew, but I got other nephews, and they don't bring girls to our Christmas gatherings. Nothing.
Dude, I'll tell you a story, man. We just had Valentine's Day, right? I never forget this. I went to Victoria's Secrets. That's right, Victoria's Secrets,
Hmm.
and I went to go buy, gifts, and so I bought, it was like a 2 for 1 sale, right? Like, I don't know, lacy panties or whatever, and I go up to the checkout, right? And then the woman says, "Oh, excuse me, these are different sizes." And I go, "I know." And the woman behind me, "Shame on you." I was like, okay, right? Dude, I'd be in my apartment, man, and right, still going to
Hmm.
college. I'd be with this one girl or whatever, and I go, I gotta go to work, you know. And I'd get my clothes on, and then I'd get in the car, kiss her goodbye, and then I'd drive around the freaking block, come in, get undressed, take a shower, and then hey, then my girlfriend comes over. Hey, how's it going, dude? It was just
It was the
that was,
best of times, man.
dude. It was. That's what you just did, right?
That's what
And
you
everybody was
do,
doing
man.
it,
What? When you
but
can, man. When you can, you gotta do it, man.
see, I didn't even know it then. It was just like, this is what I did. This is what I always
I
did,
know that's what you're trying to fuck as much as possible, man. Hell yeah.
right? It wasn't. I mean, obviously, I knew that it wasn't wrong, or I wouldn't be sneaking around. But it was like, it's
And
okay.
they're
I'm not.
sneaking around too, man.
Huh?
They're sneaking around too, bro.
That's true too. That's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
She's also going somewhere else and fucking
Yeah.
somebody else. I mean, that's the lie that they try to like make men feel like, oh, you're a sleaze bag. The girls are fucking more than you are, huh?
It's easier for them,
Yeah, it's
you know.
easy.
For us, it's difficult, right?
Ooh, if you're doing that, you're a pimp, man. Girls, you don't even have to be that good looking, nothing. You can fuck like 20 times more than them men.
Right, especially like about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when everybody's drunk. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
man.
I'm, I'm
My
letting too
grandma,
many.
my
Oh,
grandma, she told me that there's a reason why the Bible warns you about women. About women, she's like, we're not strong or anything like that, but we're savvy.
exactly.
Yeah,
There,
don't trust women.
there's that saying like, or no, the question is, who would you rather have plotting against you, a man or a woman? Right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
want a woman plotting against you because
Yeah,
she
yeah.
messes with your emotions. You know what I mean? Right.
If you let it,
Right. Right.
and if you think that they're wholesome and they would never, and they're just waiting for you, then
Dude.
you're in a la la land, delusional. Mhm.
And yeah, that's the major fall that you take too, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, you're like she
Yeah.
would never. I'm the good. I'm the bastard. With your weak one or two girls that look at you. When your girl
Mhm.
goes out into the store, she has 100 guys looking at
Right,
her.
right, 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 right.
A
Yeah.
100 guys that would just fuck her immediately. You make it two or three.
Right. All right. Okay, bro. We've been here an hour and a half, man. Let's close this, and then yeah, this is great. Well, now I know how to do videos. We'll have to do some more, but yeah, let's do some on our own research on how we want to structure this more, right? If we need to. I think this is really cool how we're doing it. So yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, what do you got going on today?
Today we were supposed to have people over, but you know, people are sick here in the house, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out with the kids, do some things. I'm right finishing up this story. I posted a new poem. You should check it out. I put it on
Yeah.
Substack. Yeah.
Read it, man. Why don't you read it?
Read it now?
Yeah.
All right, we'll end it like that then. I kind of want to take something out of it, but we'll do it anyway. I'll do it like this. Hold up. All right. It's called Laundromat at Midnight. I'll just skip over these lines. All right, here we go. All right. I worked at a laundromat, an all-night cathedral, listening to machines sputtering absolution. Some nights I'd eat dinner from a paper bag, wrestling with strangers for that sweet, honest desperation only pain can give. When my girlfriend finally left, she took the dog and the ficus. I don't know what I miss more, her or the dog. Kicking open the door, screaming she wished I was dead, I told her I'd write her into my future. What else could I do? I walked to a downtown bar, been open for a lifetime, a neon beer sign flickering like a broken heartbeat. An old man, his face a net of wrinkles, turns to me and says, "You owe me, you owe me." Who owes you? I say. Everybody. That answer made all the sense in the world. Lights lost their voice when I finally left the city, and a desert rose to meet me, dust coiling like restless spirits. I met a prince perched on a sun-bleached rock, his eyes drowned in 1,000 moons. A storm is coming, he said, one you can't see, twisted in the marrow of dreams, standing in fire, calling out in a colorless voice, "Where are you headed?" "Nowhere." The prince nodded, as if he'd heard it before. Counting days in astral signs and broken taillights, in tears of laughter that no one hears, I discovered a secret to life. A part of me keeps moving while the other watches from a distance, and I carry on like this, not because I want to, but because I have to. And dawn, when it comes, feels like a lie.
Hey, that was good, man. That was good.
Thank you,
I
man.
like I like that it didn't rhyme. I
Yeah, I
like
don't write. I don't write poems that rhyme.
what do you call those type of poems?
Prose.
Prose, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, I like how you read it too. I always think like the best read poetry is by the author.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
We got to make a little like edit that and just have it like for TikTok and shit.
Oh, right on. Right on. Maybe.
We gotta
Yeah.
we gotta because there's a lot of golden pieces in what we're doing.
Mhm. Mhm.
We just gotta cut them and just like
All
little
right.
snippets of.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then put it on TikTok, Facebook, all that.
I'll figure out how to do that stuff for sure. Yep. Little
Yeah,
by
yeah,
little. Little by little. You
yeah,
too. You figure it out. You figure it out
yeah,
too, and then
yeah,
share
yeah,
that
yeah,
with
yeah,
me.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's like little pieces that are good.
Mhm. Mhm. For
And
sure.
everybody's good doing things in little pieces.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what about the story that you're working on? What are you working on? What story?
That same one I send you pieces of. The one Grand Central. This is actually that poem is from Grand. The poem is in the story.
Oh, the poems in the
Yeah,
story.
because the guy's going to there's a poetry night at the Gypsy Den.
At the Gypsy Den. Remember the Gypsy Den, right?
Of course, man.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking about going back and living there again. That
that was
was a
bad,
good
man.
place. That was a good place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm almost finished with it. I'm towards the tail end of that story. When I'm done with it, I'll send you like a file. You can check it out
Read some of it. Read some of it. You got
here
time?
now.
Yeah. We could always edit it and just have
Let's
snippets.
see. All right. I'll read the part that I sent you. I think
Okay.
that's a pretty good part. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
where it's basically your character, right?
Hmm.
And all right, I'll check it out.
You made me like a dreadlock Rasta
Right, right.
because
Yeah.
I had that hair. It wasn't dreadlocks. I wouldn't say they were like that freaking that thick nasty black people here.
Gosh, dude, you're gonna get us censored. Oh, me.
That's the hair
Speak.
that I always had, man. Man, because we're mixed. We're mixed.
Hmm,
I
hmm.
always thought I looked like Mel Gibson or Michael J. Fox.
Delusion. All right, so, um, yeah. All right, I'll read till.
Then my hair was always thick and nappy hair.
Mhm, mhm. All right, I'll read until. All right, after this, then let me just read this part. Then, okay. Let's see how
Okay,
it sounds.
go.
All right. So this is after yeah, he gets back from his writing group or whatever at school, creative writing shop. All right, read that. So Roman never tired of the bus ride back to Grand Central in Santa Ana. Every day brought a kaleidoscope of new faces, smells, clothing, whispering a certain kind of life. He sat by the window, letting the rhythm of the road steady his thoughts before pulling out his journal. After a brief pause, pen hovering above the page, he began to scribble down short, descriptive phrases about the people around him. Balding man, spine bent, fighting gravity, every step a battle, pain wrapped around him like a second skin. Young couple, white and black. She's maybe 17, white and scared. He's got cornrows, black and proud. Maybe it's the pride that'll break him first. Bus driver, eyes tired, gray hair like a flag of surrender. Have you always wanted this? Always been this tired? Driving around the city's ghosts, one stop at a time? Getting off the bus, Roman stepped into the stillness of the street. The sun hung low in a cotton candy sky. The sound of the bus pulling away trailed behind him, heading toward other similar destinations. Slipping on his headphones for the walk home, Crime and Punishment transported him to 19th century Russia, a world of cramped rooms, sickness, and mournful lives. This was part of his training to become a real writer, he thought, an apprenticeship in suffering that, in Dostoevsky's case, led to the soaring heights of genius. If you want to be a real writer, you have to read all the greats, Carlos had said. And why did Roman listen to Carlos? Because Carlos was the first person who'd ever taken him seriously when he declared himself a writer. Back home, his friends and family would nod and say, "That's nice," as if it was something small, something you'd say to a child whose dreams were so far outside the bounds of normal comprehension. Carlos was different. He took Roman at his word, and for that alone, he had earned Roman's trust. A fragile, fleeting trust, but trust nonetheless. They met in the dorm's freshman year in a plain, poorly lit building that smelled faintly of disinfectant and old shoes. Roman had just moved in, desperate for anyone to talk to. When Carlos emerged from his room like a shadowy figure stepping out of a dream, dreadlocks, dark skin, thick round glasses, a subtle confidence that made the other students on the floor fade into the background. Roman introduced himself, drawn to the stranger who looked like no one he had ever met in real life. In the weeks that followed, they became inseparable, as though they'd been friends, maybe even brothers, in another life. What captivated Roman, what made their friendship feel less like chance and more like fate, was the night Carlos told him about his family. After so many beers, his head spinning, the two of them sat talking in Carlos's room while his roommate snored behind a curtain made of second-hand bed sheets. Carlos rolled a joint with such precision that it felt less like a habit and more like a ritual. My dad was a painter, said Carlos. Did murals around Managua. Even had a gallery, small, but people came. He was good. Then La Guerra came, and Carlos paused, his fingers fidgeting with the joint as if it might light itself. And what? Asked Roman, leaning forward. And then they called him a communist. Not that he wasn't, but still, smashed up his murals, burned the gallery. Damn. Carlos shrugged, finally lighting the joint. They left Costa Rica first, then Miami, then here. He waved a hand as if to dismiss the journey, then took a long drag and exhaled, smoke drifting above their heads. I went back to Nicaragua after high school and lived there for a few months. Still have family there. My tia Irene told me stories about the revolution, about the day Somoza was overthrown, how the streets were packed with people shouting, music blaring, tears, the smell of gunpowder drifting in the air. It was electric. Everyone was filled with hope. At that time, my tia was teaching both children and adults how to read. But then the counter revolution came. Fear crept back into the country, and little by little, people stopped going to school until one day they just stopped going altogether. Carlos paused, nodding his head as if he was agreeing with something someone said, but there was only snoring coming from behind the bedsheet. She took me to see one of my dad's murals. A farmer had built it into the back wall of his barn. He'd known my dad and had the pieces moved there before it could be destroyed like the others. It was cracked, the paint faded. In some places, it was nearly all gone, but it was still there. I could still see my dad's hand in every part of it. He paused, staring past Roman. The mural was filled with farmers, workers, kids, women, all of them with their fists in the air. Some had pickaxes, some had rifles, some wore helmets, old straw hats like my grandfather used to wear. They looked like they were shouting, but you couldn't hear them anymore. Carlos took another drag, exhaled, shook his head. I don't know, man. Seeing that, it did something to me. Made me want to paint even more, like there was something buried inside me, and that old mural pulled a little of it out. Carlos passed the joint to Roman. The problem with people is they don't care about history. They don't want to know what happened. They want fast cars and hot chicks. Whatever they see on a screen, that's what they want. But what they really want is to forget. But I can't forget. Wherever I go, I take history with me. I'm an artist, but my dad never painted again. All right, I think that's good.
Oh, that was great, man. That was great. It
Well, you
sounds
think
so much
so? Go ahead.
better. It
What'd you
sounds so
say?
much better when you read it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. You give it the Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
man, maybe I should start because when I send these things out, man, all I get is rejection letters, man. No one wants to publish my work.
That's why we're publishing them here.
Right on, right on, right on.
And I mean, forget about publishing. Read them, man. You got something else to read? We'll edit this.
Do I
These
have
aren't
something else?
snippets of like stuff that we need to like get out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're the voice, bro. That's why I pumped you up from the beginning. I was like, oh, this guy, oh, there's something. And it wasn't about reading your work, it was about listening to you and how you expressed it.
Okay, one last one and that's it. All right.
Yeah.
One last one. This is one that I wrote. It's actually, this is about, I guess it's science fiction. It's about the
Mm-hmm.
near future where people are self emoliating, right? Setting themselves on fire. It becomes like a thing,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like mass shootings, right?
And there was a guy you told me that you it was inspired by this guy who like set himself on fire.
Yeah, in Texas. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. It's a really short one, but all right. It's this one's on Substack. I'll write it really. I'll read it really quick. So okay, here we go. And this is called Notes from an American Refugee. I hate flying, waiting in long lines, taking off my shoes, my belt, putting them on again. I hate the feeling of being pressured by the people behind me to hurry up. More waiting. It's not until I'm up in the air that I'm finally relieved and I can relax, but not too much. Looking out the window seat at the cotton top clouds, the amethyst glow out there on the edge of the horizon almost makes me forget how much I hate flying. I take out the Time magazine I bought at Haneda Airport in Tokyo and look at the cover. There's a guy, I think it's a guy, engulfed in flame. Officers hosing him down with fire extinguishers. The headline reads, America's on fire. I flip to the story, but before I can read it, the stewardess is coming down the aisle with the food cart. I can't read this in Japanese. All right. Here goes. I choose the chicken and I give her a slight bow. thank her in Japanese, and take the bento box. Arigato gozaimasu. Before she leaves, I ask for a beer. I hadn't been to the States in almost 7 years, and I want to start things off right. 7 years since we decided to pack up everything and move our family to my wife's home country. Not really packed up, but sold pretty much everything: the house, cars, toys, appliances, workout equipment, my heavy bag. That one hurt. Selling the heavy bag, it was the one thing guaranteed to lighten my mood. The more I pounded it, the better I felt. In Japan, I never replaced it. My American anxiety leveled out, replaced with new Japanese anxieties, manageable anxieties, ones that didn't necessitate the use of a heavy bag. I finish my chicken and beer and ask for another. Soon the second beer settles in and I fall asleep for most of the 13-hour flight to the States. I'm momentarily shaken awake by a dream where I'm falling through the roof of my mom's house. Another dream and I'm swimming in my Nina's pool, going under, reaching up toward the sun just above the waterline. I'm a kid, maybe 5 or 6, and when I wake up I think it odd to dream of being another age than what I am. I think dreams must come from a part of me that's steady and constant, like a stream, not following any contemporary view of time. I do my best to get back to dreaming, but all I dream of is dreams I can't remember. LAX, surrounded by large strangers who are too close. So close I can smell their hairline. Musk, perfume, curry, Irish Spring, smells lacking all hygiene. I think of disease. Placing my tongue on the roof of my mouth slows me down. My mind, I mean, my thinking. Neck cracks. Don't know where that comes from, but it happens often. Most likely some childhood trauma. Going through customs is when I know I'm in America. Everyone is big. Strangers start talking to me. Where are you coming from? Oh, glad to be back? What do you miss most? I couldn't stay away for that long, and on and on and on, but I don't let on that they're annoying the hell out of me. I look at it as a kind of mental training. I just nod and smile like a life-size bobblehead doll. That's one of the major differences between Japan and the States, besides the size of the people. Americans think they're being hospitable to make small talk, but in Japan, it's polite to ignore and to be ignored. Finally, my turn at the customs window, and I'm asked business or pleasure. Don't understand this question, just like I don't understand what I call the eternal sign of substances. Like anyone's going to admit to carrying drugs into the country. Maybe it happens, I don't know. Just to liven things up once, I pointed to a syringe and what looked like black tar heroin and told the Japanese customs agents that this is one of my favorites. He gave me this big smile, then asked me to open my bags, called another agent, and they rifled through my belongings for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Business or pleasure? I, I don't know what to say. The connection between my brain and my mouth is severed momentarily. I contemplate whether my brother's funeral is business or pleasure. Don't think it falls under either one, but I have to choose, right? It's certainly not pleasure, although there are hints of pleasure regarding his passing, all of which flash through my mind: images of beatings, sitting on top of me, the brink of suffocation, slaps, more beatings with fists, and, sir, business or pleasure? Pleasure. As I turn to exit this discomfort, a couple of airport security officers are standing in front of me. They look like soldiers decked in what looks like battle armor, rifles at the ready. Behind them stands a man in a cheap polyester suit, probably in his early to mid 30s, my height, wears a serious demeanor. The cops wear serious demeanors too, but theirs are broader, general, with no specific intent other than to intimidate. The man in the suit, however, his seriousness is more specific, more direct, specifically directed at me. Come with us. Don't think too much of it. It's probably standard policy for someone who's been out of the country so long. I follow the officers to a small office where there's another taller man in another cheap polyester suit standing near a window. He's holding a tablet, glances up at me, then back to the tablet. The door closes behind me. I feel suffocated. My neck tenses. There's pressure on the inside of my jawline. Press my tongue to the roof of my mouth. Have a seat, Mr. Garcia. I sit down in front of a desk. Now I'm concerned, but I know I've done nothing wrong. Since I've been married, I've lived a harmless, boring life. The idea they have me mixed up with somebody runs through my mind, but I don't say anything. I want to see it on their face when I tell them it's not me. I want that satisfaction when they say to me, "You're right. We're so sorry. Here's a complimentary flight, a complimentary meal, tickets to a show." That's my fantasy anyway. All right, that's it.
Wow, man, that was good, man. That
Really?
was great, man. Yeah. I mean, when you read it, dude, your words just, oh man, you do a, it's just different, you know?
Yeah. Maybe I should start reading these things then and
Yeah.
recording them and putting them somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. I always loved your work, man.
Well,
Always
thanks, bro.
loved your work, man. And it's like, I think like learning about your life, learning about what we're going through, what we went through, and to
Mhm,
see.
mhm,
I mean, and then you're an artist, bro. You're an artist, bro. I can recognize an artist, you know.
mhm, mhm,
Mhm. And then it's like these things. What we're doing is just is directed to a specific audience.
mhm,
That's why
mhm,
it's
mhm,
unfiltered. Where who cares, you know? Like no, man. We have a certain opinion, and we have, and our little group is there to
mhm,
listen.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
Right?
mhm,
Yeah, I know that is, man. Because we felt alone. We felt isolated. We
mhm,
felt like the whole world's against us, right?
mhm,
Because we could never turn on anything and hear like people like us, you know.
mhm.
And it's
We're
like
misfits.
we're Misfits Gallery, right?
Right on, right on. Hey,
With
maybe that'll be our.
Sylvia.
Yeah,
I
maybe. Yeah,
wonder
we
what
need to think of
happened to them. Yeah.
what's up.
I wonder what happened to them.
Mhm,
Sylvia
mhm,
and her
mhm,
girlfriend,
mhm,
right? They were lesbians.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. They're
yep.
probably
I always remember
passed.
them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
me too, man. Yeah, me too.
I really
That
like
was
them.
just yeah, yeah. They were great. Yeah,
Mhm,
she was
mhm,
like she worked for the Orange County Museum. She was like a tour guide for the Orange County Museum.
that's right.
Right? Yeah, that
Yep,
was her.
that's right. That's right.
And
Mhm,
then they had that little gallery that they had.
mhm,
We did
mhm,
open
mhm,
mic nights.
mhm, mhm.
They were
That
the
was cool.
only Hispanic.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah, just like they opened the doors for us, and we're
Mhm,
opening the
mhm.
doors for the other people, man. And through
Yeah,
your
man.
words, yeah, man. The
Cool.
stuff you're saying.
I want to go write another poem today then. Thank you. You're inspiring me. Seriously, I'm gonna go write about something else. I'm gonna go write about my I don't know. Um uh women. In my 20s. That was just a crazy time, man. That's the
Oh,
thing. I'm trying
yeah,
to capture that. I'm trying to capture that, right, with words. It's difficult, but yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What was that girl's name? And that was your girlfriend during that time,
Marianne.
Marianne,
There's
man.
so many times I've tried to
Good
I've
hair.
tried to write about these, but it's like I always feel I've never really captured what I want to really say.
Mhm.
Yeah, but for sure. Yeah.
And then you're working on the Angels Stadium. Remember?
Oh God. That's another story, man. Jesus Christ. All right, all right. I gotta cut. All right, we're already here. Already gonna going on 2 hours, man. Okay. All right. So, great, man. Excellent. We'll meet next week, same time then. Yeah.
All right, yeah, definitely, man.
All right, Carlos. You take it easy, man. You have a great week.
All right, you too,
Stay
man.
alert. Stay alive. Later.
All right, take
All right,
care,
man.
man. Pleasure.
Yep.
Take
All right.
care.
Bye.
Bye.